It's Cigar Tip. That's not how you start the show.
Hello, my name's Steven. I'm with Tobacco Cabana.
And I'm David. I'm a Texan and I love cigars. This is the Roadshow. I'm enjoying this right off the bat.
Yeah.
This is the new
Series S from La Gloria Cubana.
right. The pretty lady on a cigar.
Mm-hmm.
Can't beat that. But this is the new Series S.
Mm-hmm.
Mexican San Andres wrapper.
Love a good San Andreas.
Yeah, they're saying it's the first time that they're using a Mexican San Andres wrapper.
So
To be-
I've had some great San Andreas
Yeah,
wrappers.
but they just haven't used one on a La Gloria Cubana cigar, and it's a little bit bigger ring gauge. This is a 56.
Mm-hmm.
This is the Robusto Gordo,
Okay.
so it's a 5.5 by 56. Price point on this is $7.99.
Nice.
$7.99.
Great smoke for that price.
Yeah, it is.
Starting off wonderful.
Yeah, the blending on this was interesting in that, for one thing, he's saying this is the first time they're going to use a Mexican San Andres for the wrapper of a La Gloria, and it's a medium to full body smoke.
Yeah.
You agree?
Yeah, I'd say that.
Yeah.
It's not overpowering by any means, but you know, San Andreas always gives me kind of a meaty smoke. You know,
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
going to have a nice, rich, dark smoke out of it.
Yeah, I would say.
I don't want to say oily because that's more oscuro, but
No, it's a beautiful cigar. I mean, I like the construction of it. The band is really stands out too. Not just your normal La Gloria. It's got a bigger band with that Series S you can see on there in the Mexican San Andres down below.
and the kind of copper tones.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, it's just a good looking, and I think that ring gauge for me, 56. That's the same as what you would see in a CAO Brasilia Gold, the Gold.
Yeah.
I'll do so. You know, that to me is pretty much at the top of my ring gauge size, is 56. Let me read something here, though. He says La Gloria Cubana blending team selected a natural Mexican San Andres wrapper, which is grown in a potassium-rich volcanic soil. So what is that going to do?
Potassium?
Volcanic. A little bit more pepper. I'm not getting a whole lot of pepper off this. I mean, not like a normal pepper.
Like between Nicaragua and Honduras, the volcanic there, you know, one side's more of a creamy on the Honduran side, one side on the Nicaraguan is a little more peppery. And again, it's, you know, let's go back to ash flow and mineral deposits that
Right.
Luciano told us about and go, oh, wow, way over my head.
Yeah.
I'm glad he can understand that stuff, but the soil richness of potassium,
Okay.
I don't know. I don't get a dryness like I do with the Fiat Lux.
Right. Now, it says, too, it has a prolonged low-temperature fermentation. I don't know anything about the fermentation process, what you do, what you don't do, what is better for this, what's better for that, you know?
There are some cigar brands who ferment like distilleries in caves. So that may be what they're doing. Because underground, you get that low temperature,
Right.
stabilizes everything. Again, that's why we like scotches and other things that are slow aged that way. So they may be doing some sort of cave aging.
Yeah, it's saying it's got a Nicaraguan binder and a Nicaraguan and Dominican fillers in this. And it lists on here, I didn't even read this before, leather, light spice, and a pleasant aroma. And when we first lit this up, first thing I said was, it's got a nice aroma.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got a nice aroma. I think I can,
Yeah.
right now, I mean, we're just into it just now, but I think I'm definitely picking up the leather, and it's a little bit of a leather in a light cooking spice.
Right.
It's not anything, because you would look at this and then think that this is going to be a really strong cigar. It's not overpowering at all.
No. No, it's not a palate killer or anything.
No, definitely not. It's still a good, it says medium to full, and I can definitely agree with that. It's just, it's got some, it's not your normal Nicaraguan pepper.
Nope. And not even on the retro hail do I get that.
And then what do you find that the Mexican San Andreas usually delivers? Sweetness or no?
A little bit of the sweetness into it is what I found. And again, that's our experience with like Casa Turret and the San Andreas that they grow and own and blend with, just as always, phenomenal.
Okay, all right. Well, this is a fantastic cigar. Appreciate General sending them out to me for the show. Definitely was looking forward to smoking these guys. So we'll be right back.
Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these broken wings and learn to fly.
All right, guys, welcome back for another show. You know what? We didn't even do a Texas toast. How rude of us.
Wow.
I mean, are we out of habit or what? I think we're out of habit. It's like we had, I don't know. It seems like the Super Bowl messed us up because we didn't normally shoot on our normal day. We got out of routine. We didn't even do a Texas toast. I hope you guys caught it and we're going, wait, Dave, what are you guys doing?
We can't start the show off.
But yeah, we can't. And we did, but we shouldn't have. And we're going to fix that right now. Absolutely. So again, I hope you guys had your glass. You got something in there. We've got something good. Compliments of James, a good friend of the show that brought it in. And so we want to toast you guys to good friends, good conversations. It's what we call a Texas toast. Cheers, buddy. Cheers, y'all. Boom. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, the crowd goes wild.
This Oak and Eden you brought us is delicious.
Yeah.
And, you know, what we're looking at a bourbon-inspired, finished, bourbon whiskey finished with the toasted oak spiral, the spire.
Okay.
90 proof. Yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
And that's a Texas whiskey.
Yeah. Yeah.
Texas.
And we've been talking about spires here off camera, and do they work? And absolutely, yeah. If you've got something, maybe it doesn't have quite the balance you want, try a spire in it. See what it does. Kind of helps it.
Yeah, and their bottles are known for having those in there. They have those. They're the only ones that I know of. I'm sure there are others. If there are, you guys can let us know. But that's the only one I can always think of that has a spire in there at all times.
Yep.
Well, some more cigar news. What do you got? We're sticking on a La Gloria Cubana theme here for this news, and this one is we've got the La Gloria Cubana Society cigar.
Society.
Yeah.
Right.
Why is it called the Society cigar?
Well, it's not Black Tie Formal Society. It's because they did something that has really created a lot of success. They crowdsourced. So they went to their smokers of their product and got their feedback on it. And this is from 2,000 of their brand smokers across the US.
And I'm proud to say I was one of those people that got to put input on this cigar.
Yes.
So I don't know how much input, but I was
at
one
least
of the
2,000.
I was one 2,000th of it at least.
At least.
I don't know which, they didn't reveal, other than the fact of what the final product is, they didn't reveal who picked what this percentage or that percentage. I didn't. If they did, I didn't see it, and I'd love to see it. I don't know if it's necessary, but the cigar.
Interesting to see where opinions fall.
Where would I have fallen in at?
Yeah. So from them, develop it with input from that 2,000, over a year in development. Which, getting the opinions, looking at it, profiling it, doing some data on it, and then going, okay, can we blend this and make it happen?
Yeah, they went through the whole thing of size.
Yep.
Just what do you want to see in a cigar? What's your favorite size, vitola, wrapper, everything that you want to box press, whatever. And they're doing this again.
Nice.
Yeah, they're in the process of it right now, and I'm not in that process. But
you've done one.
But I've done one.
There you go.
Yeah.
From Steve Abbott, the director of marketing at LGC. It's been a pleasure to harness the Society's passion for La Gloria, and it's an honor to provide them with a cigar that reflects what the brand represents to them. We look forward to collaborating with this great group of tenured smokers on future releases.
Yeah.
It's just wonderful when a cigar manufacturer can reach out to their audience and get that kind of feedback and make something out of it.
Right, exactly. It's just, I think it goes with the whole culture thing of cigars, the community of it. And now you've got a cigar maker and a blender that really wants to hear and is going to did produce something off the feedback of individuals. So what you got was, you got 3 different cigar blends, there were 3 different cigars that they sent you, and you had to write down all the tasting notes.
This was that ABC cigar.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I remember smoking that.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so you got to write down, and then you emailed everything back in. And so they're in the process of doing it again.
Awesome.
You guys can go on the website, which is, I will put it in the description below, where you can go and be a part, get your name in there and say, yes, I want to participate in something like this in the future. And next thing you know, something shows up in your mailbox, and it's fun because you really had to try to pay attention to these cigars. And if you're listening to us, which, Dave Yancey will be up here next, and the tasting notes and everything that we do, it can be fun to see, hey, I've learned something. I've picked up on this.
Yep.
We've talked about it on the show here with you and I. I mean, we're talking about something because it's something we heard from Dave.
Yep.
In tasting. And of course, your years of smoking and mine put together, but still, that doesn't say we know everything.
Oh, no.
But I'm always up for learning something from somebody else.
That's as nice as the golden ticket for Willy Wonka.
Well, exactly, man. Yeah.
3 cigars in your mailbox?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and give me your input.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool to be able to think that somebody else actually wants to listen to what I've got to say.
Yep.
And then you just get to give them your input.
Right. Interesting blend. Handcrafted in the El Credito Cigar Factory. Let's see. It's a Honduran Puro with filler tobacco from Jamastra in La Entrada, with a Jamastra binder crowned with a lustrous Orlachano San Agustin wrapper.
So it's a Puro, huh? It's a Honduran Puro. You don't see too many.
No.
As in Texas, we'd say a Puro.
Yeah.
But yeah, you don't see a Puro too many times. So that's cool too.
The wrapper I'm not familiar with. The Orlachano San Agustin wrapper. Have you heard of that, Dave? Yeah.
Yeah, a specific. Because
I don't know that I've seen that on many other cigars.
I want to say it's another Criollo hybrid.
Okay.
Dave's saying that he thinks it's a Criollo hybrid. Don't quote him on it. Don't quote us.
Yeah, we're not quote worthy.
We're not quote worthy.
Medium to full body smoke, brimming with notes of earth, nuts, and coffee. Oh, you can't beat that.
Sounds like a great cigar.
Box pressed, 20 count boxes.
Yeah, it's got a slight box press.
Yep. Started release in August of 2022. Distributed by Forged Cigar Company, so part of the partnership they've got there. This is nice. 6 1/4 by 54, so reasonable size. $8.99 MSRP.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful price point on a cigar.
Slight box press.
Yeah.
It's a soft box press. It's not hard.
No.
I mean, another great looking band. And then Dave reminded us, like we talked in the other, not knowing, what did you say, 1895? 1895? 1895, La Gloria. It was considered the original boutique.
That's where it all started. Okay.
And a pretty lady started it.
Yep.
So that's very cool. So you guys try to get out to the store, your local B&M, or find it somewhere. Sounds like a great cigar. I haven't had it yet. This one, if this La Gloria Series S,
look for both of them.
look for both of these in your brick and mortar. Okay, guys? We'll be right back.
Today's Cigar Word is brought to you by Erez Premium Cigars.
Today's Cigar Tip is brought to you by Micallef Cigars.
All right, Stephen, I got a question for you.
Is it your question or did it come from a viewer?
Well, no, it came from me.
Okay.
Me asking a cigar maker, somebody I highly respect, somebody we've had on the show before, somebody who his family is tobacco, Gabby Caffey. And I just posed the question, can you retrohale too much? Is there a good, bad way of retrohaling?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
So, yes, you can too much.
you can too much.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, if you watch the blenders doing it and everything, they're sampling sometimes just the individual tobaccos and getting kind of in their sensory, the taste and flavors to blend them together in their mind to then blend the product. But too much, yeah, you can burn out your sinuses and desensitize them.
So can you retrohale too little? Like not.
If you don't, it's not bad, but you're not getting the full experience of the cigar.
And
Because you need to get that through your nasal passages.
your
and let it
tasting
take that
process, a lot of your receptors are in your nose that you taste. are
Sweet
in
and
your
sour, sweet and sour on your
They're
cheeks.
in there. And one of the things, you know, if you're going to review cigars, you need to retro at least a little bit. You don't have to blow it out like a frickin' dragon,
No.
right? But blow out a little bit in your mouth, take what's left, and then shove that to the roof of your mouth and blow it out through your nose.
Yeah.
Just a puff, and that'll help.
Yeah.
Definitely, really, I mean, because it will reveal tastes that you don't taste when you don't retrohale.
Right, things that aren't on your taste buds, but are in your
In your-
nasal receptors.
Right. So you can retro too much. You need to retro at least a little bit. So if you try to learn how to do that, just a little bit, but you don't have to. If you're not into that, you don't care. You're satisfied with what you're tasting in the cigars, then you don't have to retrohale. Besides that, it's your cigar smoked the way you want to, right?
Right. Same thing with when you go to a distillery and they, if you're lucky and they hand you some white dog, do not stick your nose down in there and take a deep sniff on it. You can really hurt your nasal receptors. They'll recover, but it can be almost damaging, and therefore it would change your flavor tastes afterwards. So always, even with the Glencairns, you're not going full nose in. You're just kind of pass it underneath and get a
that's
good sense of it.
In a sense, kind of retrohaling, taking it in through your nose and blowing it out your mouth and getting it that way before. And this is the smoke coming in this way and going out your nose the other way and tasting it. So another good tip.
Yep.
All right. Cool.
Thank you.
Welcome back, Dave.
Welcome back.
Yeah.
How you doing?
I'm good. You?
I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm smoking a cigar. I'm drinking whiskey. I mean, come on, this
Exactly.
is what we do, right?
This is what we do. And with your segment here, this is one of my favorite parts of the show because we get to drink more and talk more about what it is we're smoking and drinking. And you've been off camera with this one. So we got you the cigar. This is the Serie S La Gloria Cubana a new cigar that came out with a Mexican San Andres wrapper. We've got the Oak and Eden. You've been off camera smoking that while we've had this going on. So you've already been tasting this a little bit. Mm-hmm. So not a pairing that you've had before.
Nope.
You drink much of their stuff?
I've had quite a bit of their stuff.
Because they're here in Texas.
They're here in Texas, and they're also associated with another favorite cigar brand of ours, the Ezra Zion.
Ezra Zion.
Ezra Zion, and so and what I really love about this is almost like it's a boutique pairing, because we've got the original boutique cigars you and Steve were talking about,
right,
and we've got essentially what's a boutique type of whiskey. And now, this isn't a bourbon. It's not a bourbon.
Can't be, right?
Cannot be considered a bourbon. It's a bourbon finished with. And so, based upon the labeling laws, it has to be stated as a bourbon finished with a particular spire. But because it's finished with something, it cannot be considered classified as just a straight bourbon.
Okay.
So it's a whiskey, and they even stated on here, this is a bourbon whiskey finished with, which is the legal classification of this.
So is that, as a consumer, is that something you want to look for, or is it still? I mean, if you didn't have all the laws, the legalities,
it's getting into
would it be a bourbon?
Yeah, I mean, it's getting into legalism, semantics of it, and you have a lot of bourbon purists, the Kentucky bourbon purists or the bourbon purists that say, oh, that's not a bourbon. No, it's a bourbon that's got a couple of spires in there that add some additional flavors. And so there is a classification in the TAA legal specification of it. Okay. And it is a bourbon whiskey finished with. So what does the spire do? The spire brings out extra flavors on it. So just as in what we talked about in the past, of the devil's share of the oak wood itself. Okay, so the longer that it soaks in and it pulls it out, this has different flavors that have been soaked in it or based upon the types of wood it is, and so it's pulling that out. So is that spire that's in there? It's wood. Is it coming from a barrel that had whiskey in it, or is this just a piece of wood? It could be. It could be a piece of wood. It could be a piece of wood that was soaked. So it could be a piece of wood that was soaked in rum, or a piece of wood that was soaked in Armagnac or cognac or something. Okay. A piece of wood that was soaked in vanilla extract. But the main thing is that it's a piece of wood that was either a part of a barrel or soaked in something to absorb those flavors. And then as it's sitting in the bottle over time, those flavors starts coming out. So that's kind of acting like, in essence, like it's sitting in another barrel. Essentially, yes. Right? Yeah. But it's in a bottle, and the barrel's in the bottle now. Correct. Instead of putting what was in the barrel in the bottle. Correct. Now exactly. No, you got it. Exactly. You got it. And so that changes. I think I know what I was talking about. That changes some of the characteristics of the whiskey itself. And so that's why when you asked me which one we should pair for this particular show, because of knowing Oak and Edens and what their general characteristics are with this, and James having sent me the notes on this, I knew that pairing this with the San Andres, especially having read a little bit about it, and we were talking about the potassium, and so the potassium gives you a little bit of that saline, that saltiness of it, and the potassium rich of the soil. And that tells me that while this is Nicaraguan, this is up there in that Jalapa Valley area, so it's much more rainforest, so it's much more potassium rich, right in there between Honduras and Esteli. So you're getting a lot of that richer creaminess on it. And one of the things that San Andreas wrappers are really known for are those deep cocoa notes. Those deep, bitter, chocolatey, rich cocoa notes. Yeah. And so you're marrying that up with this. Okay. And you got a good pairing. So no, not everybody does a spire in there. So why do a spire? I mean, why not just age it
differently in a certain type of barrel to get the flavor that you want.
Some people do that. I mean, Penelope is known for that. They have made their name known for aging their bourbon that they get, or their rye or their whiskey that they get in different types of barrels.
Okay.
Think about how many different types of distilleries and whiskeys and bourbons that we have out there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we can have endless depending upon the mash bill, but to really get your name known, you've got to distinguish yourself from everybody else, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you want to.
Buffalo Trace does it with their 2 main recipes, and then the aging, and then the different places that it's located, and the rick house, and
Right.
the way they rotate. Oak and Eden wanted to distinguish themselves from everybody else, so they're making their name known as the Spire.
All their whiskeys.
Every single whiskey
has a Spire in it.
has a Spire in it.
What do you do? So let me ask you this: you're done with the bottle, you kill it. What do you say?
You take that Spire and use it.
You could make.
I mean, you can
What?
make
Hey.
infinity bottle with
Yeah.
Spire.
Yeah. Do
Oh,
an
yeah.
infinity bottle. What's an infinity bottle?
An infinity bottle is when you get down to, say, the
You don't have
final
enough for a pour.
eighth, the bit of it. You get another bottle that's been cleaned out, and you add it, and you pour that into that other bottle, and you just come up with your own blend of other.
Yeah. So Oak and Eden, pour it in there. Buffalo Trace, you don't have enough for a pour it in there, and you just keep adding to this bottle. And I've tasted some infinity bottles before, and it's like, what is this? I have no idea, but it's good because it's so many different drinks in there. Now, I would say that, infinity, perpetual bottle, anything like that, you'll see that note on there. But
Yes.
one thing I would say is don't take well, I don't know, you can do what you want. Don't take this and then add a Lafroy to it. And then,
I've got one that I'm doing exactly that with.
Are you?
I've got a Lafroy added, and I've got an Ardbeg added with rye.
With something like this.
And it doesn't have a Spire, and it's
Right,
not
right.
Oak and Eden, but it's an infinity bottle, and we started it off with Evan Williams bottled and bond. And it's got about so much into it. And another friend of ours started off with it and then handed it off to me to continue on
Okay.
with it. And so he would bring it up to one of our bottle mates
Yeah.
and say, okay, what do I need to add to this? And I was like, okay, we need a little bit more body. So what about if we do a high rye
Okay.
in it to get a little bit more of that oomph, that kick, that spice
Okay.
with it. So, just a
And so
very high
you're
rye.
keeping track of everything that you're putting in there.
Yeah, we've got notes of everything that's in it.
So you can then come back and say, you know what, let's add this to it. Let's add some more spice to it. Let's add.
And just kind of tweak it a little bit to get it to where it's just got that perfect flavor on it. And a lot of infinity bottle collectors or people or pursuers will do just exactly that.
Yeah.
I know some guys that have done infinity bottles off of nothing but Old Foresters.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I love Old Forester. I had Evan Williams Bottle and Bond last night. I do. That's one of my staples. I don't buy a lot of Oak and Eden. I need to get a bottle and add that in there. You guys know my room is done. Getting bottles to my shelves that I've got plenty of space for right now, so I'm trying to get that added. And that's definitely a shelf. My shelf has a space for something like that on there because that's good whiskey. I love it. This is great stuff, and it's pairing very well with this. I mean,
it is pairing very well with this. The only thing that I would probably do with this one myself is I would probably open it up, take the cap off of it, and let it sit for a bit because it's drinking hotter than what it is.
I was going to say.
And so that tells me that the whiskey itself is a little bit young. It still hasn't had a chance to maturate some. And so it needs to oxidize a little bit more.
So if you get something and you're like, oh, wow, that's hot, just let it sit open for what? An hour? Half hour?
Half hour. A lot of times what I'll do is I'll, I wouldn't do that with this one because it's got Spire in it, but I'll decanter it. And so I'll take it and I'll pour it into a decanter and then let that sit in there for 30 days and then go back to the bottle.
And pour.
Then go right back to the bottle with it.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
So I'll do different things like that, and that helps really open it up. But I mean, we're doing this exact same thing when we're swirling.
Okay.
Okay.
You're aerating it.
We're aerating it, and we do that with our wines. And I mean, when you had the wine sommelier on here, she talked about
Gin,
aerating your wines, and why? Because that opens up the body of it. It helps open up the body, helps even out those notes types up, really bring the flavors forward.
Right.
And that will do the same. Now, it's not going to reduce that heat from the proof as much,
Right.
but it does help it open it up a little bit.
Cool. All right. Well, I hope that I learned something. That's cool. I hope you guys learned something. I always appreciate these segments, Dave. You come in and then doing something blind too. You were off camera drinking, getting the notes off of it, and coming on camera and telling us what you got. But this was a good pairing based on knowing what you were and then you saw the cigars that I had. You said, let's pair these together. Good pairing. Hope you guys enjoyed it.
And Ash Red with Leap Grade, and we are doing a stop shop at Churchill's Fine Cigars. And the unique thing about this shop that sets it apart is it does have boutique and it also has mainstream. They have a wide range of selections, and they have this beautiful bar that they just want your favorite whiskey, bourbon, scotch, cocktail to pair with your cigar. So come check out Churchill's Fine Cigars out in Scottsdale. This particular location is off Camelback in 44th. So come check them out and stop by and have a smoke and a drink.
Another great shop stop.
I
Love getting to
love,
see these
yeah,
places.
I love getting to see these places. I love, being supplied with something that I don't have to shoot. Thanks, Dave. That's
him guilting you, the audience, into saying, let's get some footage of your local shops. And,
you know what? I
send
thought
it
of
in.
something else too.
What's that?
What about a dad joke? Send me a
Dad
dad. Send
Dad
me.
jokes are good.
Get your cell phone out. Send me a dad joke.
Yeah.
I'll sit. I need something to go in between segments.
We're getting audience disapproval on that one. No.
We'll just give it a
the
shot.
shot.
Hey,
Yeah.
we'll give it. I'm willing to give anything a shot.
Yeah.
And see how it works. But shop stops are always working. Those are always working. We've had James send in one. We've had Kevin Shahan send in one. I've done a couple of them. We just want to see what else is out there, and we just need a simple walkthrough.
All right.
Can be done with a cell phone. That's
Absolutely,
it.
yeah.
So another great show, man. Always appreciate being here at Tobacco Cabana in Cedar Hill. Always appreciate you, Rhonda, Dave, Bob, even Bob. And appreciate you guys letting us sit in.
Always welcome.
All right, you guys, we appreciate each and every one of you. And like we always say, enjoy the leaf.
Enjoy the leaf.
Grow the culture.
Grow the culture.
All right, guys. We'll see you next time.
Texas Cigar Roadshow is presented by Lone Star Cigar Association.